Hello, hello, Travel with Eva here. And what day is it? It's Tuesday, Travel Tuesday. So I want to welcome you to the broadcast. And
hello.
I'm having you dream now and travel later. That's my theme. Okay, welcome to the broadcast. Share in the comments where you're coming from. Welcome to the broadcast. So today, as you can see, I have a special guest. I'm going to be introducing her in a minute. And let me turn the music down. I'm going to be introducing her in a minute. In the meantime, I'm going to be sharing a word from our sponsors. Okay, welcome. So I have the pleasure of having my friend and colleague Jackie on the broadcast, and let me tell you a little bit about her. Jackie Williams is the owner of New Vibe Travel Experience, LLC. She's based in Metro Atlanta. She plans luxury vacations and destination celebrations for adventurous adults, couples, and small groups. Welcome to the broadcast, Jackie.
Thanks, Eva. Thanks for inviting me again.
You're welcome. Is there something additional that you'd like to say about yourself before I get started with all my...
No, I just want that's me. That's who I am. That's what I serve. You know, we're both passionate about this industry. And so I just want everyone to know that we're excited to be talking about travel.
All right. Well, I want to welcome to the show Miss Austin from Tampa. Thank you for joining. And also thank you for joining Miss Joseph from Charlotte.
Hey.
From all different places. So let me get started. And let me ask you ladies that are, if you could put it in the comments, do you have cabin fever? Do you have cabin fever? Because I know I do. I am so used to planning people's travel, and also my husband and I going places, and I have cabin fever. So put it in the comments if you're having cabin fever. And Miss Green says hello, Jackie, and Mr. Freeman says hi, Jackie. So
hey guys. Hello, the love. Thank y'all.
Welcome to the broadcast. So, and like I said, feel free to put in the comments. Do you have cabin fever? But right now, Jackie, how do you feel about traveling, just in general?
Well, you know, we're going through it, right? No, but I do have very good hope and that's aspirations for the return of travel. I think for me, I'll say around Memorial Day, that's when I started seeing that cabin fever, at least in my clients, kind of like bursting, like, okay, what's open? Where can we go? We want to go now. And of course, COVID, the big C, putting a little halt on things. However, I've been traveling. I won't say traveling. I traveled once last month.
My clients, I have one group that's scheduled for next year, and several of the clients said they are a little bit hesitant about traveling right now, but are ready to travel in the future when they feel that it's safe. So
yeah,
it's kind of a mixed feelings.
Yeah,
it has affected us in terms of business, because the travel business is really flat right now. Some people are booking, but it's really slowed down. But we're thanking God. We still have our businesses, and we're hanging in there.
Yeah, it's given us time to really, truly, I think, reconnect with the purpose of why we're in this career, as well as just learning new things, new destinations, right? And just new products to present in 2021. So I'm excited.
And And Miss Joseph says that she said yes. So I got in her car on Saturday and drove 3 hours to the beach.
Ooh.
I haven't done that yet, but I am so ready. I'm gonna be planning something soon where we just drive and just hang out at the beach. I love to just walk on the beach. I love to hear the sound of the ocean. So I'm with you. I'm with you, girl. So where did you said you traveled recently? Where did you travel to?
I did. My husband and I went 8 days in Jamaica. We stayed at Negril and Ocho Rios. So that was great. He's from Jamaica, but we didn't see family this time. It was just about us, finally.
And that's always nice to get away, because it's nice to do things with family, but it's also nice to get away and have that quality time for the both of you. So what was it like? What was it like for you when you started traveling? And I guess more specifically, what precautions did you take when you were traveling in July?
Well, for anyone who knows me, I can be a little bit of a self-proclaimed germaphobe. So you know that.
Yes, I do.
So I took a lot of precautions. A lot of it beforehand was in preparation, truly understanding the regulations of entering Jamaica, what they will require for me. So I spent a lot of time speaking to the Jamaican Tourism Board, just understanding what will be required. So with that, my husband and I were responsible. We did get COVID tests. You weren't required out of the state of Georgia to be tested, but we still got tested for peace of mind purposes. And just too, I think it's the responsible thing to do when you're going to go and travel on the plane and be around other people. With that, the protocols of the airline, Delta Airlines is our airline of choice by preference most of the time. So definitely understanding what their requirements would be, which was to wear a mask and keep our distance if possible at all times. And so we did that. And packing up on sanitizers and hand and wipes, and just packing in an organized manner just in case things happen at the airport and we was going to have to take things out of our luggage. I wanted things to be compartmentalized and very neat so that we didn't have a lot of issues. So, I mean, a lot of it was more mental preparation and just understanding protocols of the destination. And then, but travel in general, for at least how we travel, was pretty standard and consistent for what we're used to.
Okay. So as you were getting ready, you and your husband are, getting ready to travel, did you have any anxiety?
Not initially. It didn't really creep up until getting the COVID test and then waiting for it. Jamaica's requirement is to do a pre-authorization form 10 days prior to travel. And so we wanted to fall within that time frame as far as getting tested. Currently, well, at least at that particular time of travel, the states of Florida, Arizona, Texas, and New York were required to upload a negative COVID test prior to entering into their country. So with a lot of people kind of having concerns about will my test come back in time, et cetera, that was where my anxiety started to build up a lot more. And then, so we never left the house. Like, I guess a necessity was one time for a hair appointment, which anyone who saw me would have said, yeah, you need to do that. And then going to the chiropractor once. But other than that, I hadn't left the house since March.
Wow.
Very odd visit to Costco in April, which most people who saw the pictures told me never to leave the house again. So to go from that type of stay at home, just way of living to being at the airport, that's when my little cuckoo-ness kind of crept in as far as watching everybody. Do that person have on a mask? Are they hand sanitizing? Like, I got very heightened at the airport. So
let me ask the audience, are you willing to fly on a plane right now? We'd love to hear your feedback.
Yeah.
And I see one thumbs up. So
What about you? Would you get on the plane, Eva?
right now, I have mixed feelings. I'm really thinking about it because my niece she's planning on, and it's like a day by day thing, planning on getting married in St. Lucia.
Ooh.
And so we're just kind of waiting and waiting to get out the house. And so I would consider it. Now my husband, he may have a different opinion. I definitely have cabin fever. I definitely have it. So my next question for you is, what was it like at the Atlanta airport? Did we cover that? Regina says, hold on a minute. Regina says, she said, I am ready. Go ahead, girl.
Of course you are. Oh, that's so funny. At the Atlanta airport, it was interesting because so my husband and I thought we were going to be clever and drive so that we wouldn't have to deal with people, but we still ended up having to take a shuttle from the park and ride to the airport terminal. That's when things got real. I was like, whoa, we really won't have a lot of control over what we want to do, how we want things to be traveling. So there's a certain level of compromise with yourself, depending on how patient you are, that you have to do. However, when we got to the Atlanta airport, everything was typical at the check-in counter with Delta, et cetera. We did check our bags. Now, we typically are the type to do carry-on to avoid that. But just to avoid having too much stuff in our possession during security and having to touch things coming off of the scanner, we are checking our bags right now. Okay. But the Atlanta airport, it was interesting because we're like, okay, we got TSA and we got clear, but the main security gate was closed. They actually had us go down to the arrival international when you're coming home, that level, 2 levels below, to do our security. So it was a very different process. So I definitely will say, if you haven't traveled in a while, you don't know what the conditions of your airport are, because the capacity is so low that they're closing off certain parts of the airport and the gates to get there super early. Well, not super early, but within the 3 hour window to give yourself time to navigate, because things could be different.
Okay. Well, we have some comments here. Let me show them. Regina says I already said that. She's ready. And then Kenneth says, hey, even Jackie, we don't have cabin fever, but know many that are ready to travel. So thanks for that comment, Kenna. And Freedom, Freeman, sorry if I mispronounced your name, says many folks will have a decision to make as COVID continues to travel. Preparation, like Jackie said, and using common sense should ease the fears.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
Yeah, most stuff.
And somebody else said, hey, Jackie.
Hey, Felicia.
Okay, so now that you're on the plane, did you do anything special when you got on the plane?
Oh, most definitely. I did my regular routine.
What is your regular routine?
Write down everything. Like
With what?
Oh man, so I'll tell you this. So my husband and I, we did upgrade to first class just so we can have room. And then with Delta, they have 50% reduced capacity in the first class cabin space. And for main cabins, they have the middle seats empty. So again, I prefer airline. However, when we get on the plane, after we put things up, we take our wipes, we do the overhead lights, switches, armrests, the tray, the tray itself, the outside of the tray, the leather backing that the tray touches up against when you close it. We have a TV on ours, but even if it wasn't, it would have been the headrest behind me, the seat belts, the buckles, the seat bottom. So technically, I go and redo anything that they say that they've done. I make sure that it's like done the way that I can finally sit back. Oh yeah, bring me my cocktail, So I actually relax. And so that's what we both do now when we travel.
So Thanks, Tanita, for joining. She sharing your regular routine. And that's one of the tips that we have for you as you travel again. If that you come prepared with wipes to wipe everything down. Anything that anybody could possibly touch, wipe it down.
If I could wipe out the air, it would be great. But but that's just me pre-COVID, people. Just don't get freaked out.
Yeah, that's just her routine. And I do it too. And one time I was flying, I was doing my seat, and the lady said, "Oh, can you do mine too? Can you do mine too?"
Oh, no, baby girl, those wipes are for the room. Like, that's a whole nother process.
No, I can't do that. I have to share. So I share with her. So she was like, "Oh, thank you. And this was like a year or so ago. And Gwen said, "Bring on the cocktails."
Yes, bring the cocktails. Let's relax.
So, okay, you're on the plane. The plane has landed because we're taking this trip with you. The plane has landed. What precautions did you notice? And then in terms of you're in Jamaica now, what was that like? In terms of the airport, you just arrived, you're going through all that. What was that?
So one of the things in getting to Jamaica, before you can even get on the plane, that pre-authorization form that I mentioned earlier that's required, you actually have to have that verified at the gate. So we had that verified. It's kind of hard because I was in first class, and even coming home, I was in Comfort Plus. But I believe that Delta is having people load from the back forward. I know some airlines, regardless of class, that's the protocol. However, wear your mask. They're definitely checking for that. And there's been instances where they will literally turn the plane around if someone's not complying with that. So definitely wear your mask. Another thing, when deplaning, they were asking us all to stay 6 feet behind the person in front of you. So, if you're looking to travel and you're typically that person who doesn't like to pay for those advanced seatings or the seats up front, however, you don't want to necessarily get caught, maybe taking about 30 to 40 minutes to get off the plane, that's a little tip for you. Consider getting your seat as closest to the front of the plane as possible so that you don't have to wait 6 feet whenever they actually comply with that. But that was the main thing. At the airport in Jamaica, they're definitely, so we have Club MoBay. We always get Club MoBay or Club Kingston when we travel.
Now, Jackie, pause for a second. For those who don't know, what is Club MoBay?
Yeah, most def. I'll definitely explain that. So that's concierge. That's concierge arrival, where you have someone waiting for you with the sign, "Welcome, Mrs. and Mrs. Mrs. Williams." Always have to get that. You always have to feel. I want you to feel special. You should want to feel special. So definitely consider Club MoBay. So we have our private concierge standing there waiting for us to escort us through the customs process. Also very great for people who are new to travel and get a little anxious when they get into airports. However, she was with us. The first place that we came, the lady have temperature checks, the little temperature gun, and hand sanitizing. And we're waiting in this line because there were 2 flights ahead of us. Typically with Club MoBay, you get to bypass everybody regardless of flights. However, what they're doing now, they're actually keeping the planes together. So all passengers coming off of a flight, they're keeping you together. Again, contact tracing, just trying to mitigate any of that mix up. And so once you wait for that, there's a screening table. They're just really asking you confirming questions that you said. Do you have COVID? Have you had COVID? Have you been around it? Have you gotten tested, etc.? Depending on how you answer those questions, that's where they'll make a decision whether or not they want to test you again, and or you're free to go. If you're staying in like a residence, like I said, we have family there, but if we were staying with a resident, like a family member and or Airbnb or something like that, not approved by the government through their protocols, then there's actually an app that you will have to download, and it's contact tracing essentially, GPS. And if you go out of the corridor, if you're traveling a little too much out of the quarantine that they specify for you, it'll actually ping you, and you will have to do a temperature check on yourself, put that into the app, as well as a video check-in. So they're not playing. They want to see what's around you. So we didn't have to do that, but that's some of the new protocols that's at the Jamaica airport.
Okay. Let me put up some of the comments. Gwen says she purchases a travel kit that includes a seat cover, mask, gloves, booties, sanitizing wipes, and a shield as well.
I saw that, Gwen. I never used it yet, but I've heard people sent those to me. Just put the seat cover down and you don't have to. I'll still clean up though. I'm still gonna. I'll overkill it.
If you, because some people that would make it simpler for them. Right. Everybody's different.
Right, exactly. But that's actually a good little kit.
And Gwen also says, greetings from California. We got all over in the house.
I know.
And we appreciate you. So, okay, so you're in Jamaica, you've gone through customs.
Yep.
What were your transfers like?
So
airport transfers. I mean, us travel consultants.
I know. How did I get from the airport to my hotel?
How did you get from the airport to your hotel? And in travel lingo, that's transfers.
Yes, no, that's funny. Actually, Jamaica has a brand new travel app, like a ride transfer app similar to Lyft and Uber called Arrive. Mm-hmm. And I tested it out for the first time. It was really amazing. My driver was there. His vehicle was clean. It's private transfers. It's literally, so one of the key differences though is it's actually utilizing the Jamaica Tourism Board approved taxi drivers and tour operators. So it's such an amazing feeling to know that I was contributing to the economy for those drivers who have had no tourists.
Yes.
But this app was an opportunity for them to be alerted when someone like myself was needing a ride. So the Arrive app was how we used that several times throughout our trip, from the airport to our hotel. We actually left and did like a hotel site inspection some other time. And they took us off site to eat as well. So we definitely utilized that service. And so that's the service that we did to move around Jamaica this time.
Okay. We have a question from Ms. Joseph. She said, provide the link to purchase a kit. I don't know it personally, but Gwen, if you're still on, if you could put the link on. And Gwen is also one of our colleagues. And thank you for joining.
Oh, yeah, she did.
If not, we'll look it up and put it in after the show.
She put it down there.
Oh, okay, good. All right. So
the West.
You've arrived, you got transfers. What was it like at your accommodations?
Relaxing. It was not America, even though America is cool, but it was not here. I don't know, it's something. Again, I have to still, for me to truly relax, I'm not the typical person. I still wipe down everything. But once that space is ours, the way we want it to be, they had a hammock that has inspired us to buy our own hammock. I have a hammock sitting right over there now. It was just completely relaxing. The accommodations were clean. And I guess for some people, if you're like me, or if you're concerned about cleanliness, or that's one of your must-haves, this is actually one of the best times to travel, because they're going above and maybe beyond. At least the accommodations that I always choose and select are always at a standard. Mm-hmm. But I definitely felt very secure in the accommodations. But to have literally no one around, like for the hotelers, that's not necessarily a good thing. But to just feel like you have an entire property resort as well as a beach to yourself, it was just the ultimate luxury.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that kind of answers my next question. How was it different? How was it different than pre-COVID?
Well, so it was that. It's more than just that. Having to have the distancing, having your temperature checked when going into dining rooms, having the hand sanitizer, which most resorts and cruise lines had already started implementing that for cleanliness anyways.
Mm-hmm.
I think the biggest thing is I wasn't as social. And I'm a social person. I love to do karaoke. I love the piano bar. I love meeting new people when I travel. So that was very challenging. Not really, but I felt it. I felt my isolation, self-imposed isolation, but that was the biggest difference, not really being as social as I typically would be when I travel.
Okay, we have a question. Gwen says, Jackie, where did you stay in Ocho Rios, MoBay, and Negril?
Okay, so I didn't stay in MoBay. However, we kept it couples resorts. I wanted to stay some other places, but just to kind of calm my adventure side down, we kept it to one brand. So we did 4 nights at Couples Negril and Bloody Bay Beach. And then we moved over for 2 nights at Couples Swept Away. And that's also in Negril on 7 Mile Beach. And then we did transfer all on the other across the other side of the island to Ocho Rios to Couples Tower Isle. All 3, they have 4 properties in Jamaica, 2 in Ochi, 2 in Negril. All 4 has different personalities, and I actually got to experience 3 of the 4.
That's one of my favorite places in Jamaica, staying at Couples. I love Swept Away. I love being at accommodation that's like right on the beach where you can hear the water, you can hear the ocean at night. Just so relaxing.
Yeah.
And you're right, each property has a different personality, and so that's one of the many reasons why you should consider a travel consultant, because we have been to different properties, and if we haven't been there, we have connections and people in those places where we can just find out what's a good place for you to be. And that's one of the reasons too we have a consultation and we ask those questions, because what's something that would be good for Jackie may not be good for you, because each person has a different personality. So.
Very true. My husband actually it was mixed, but his style was more at Couples Tower Isle. We call that Little South Beach.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for him, that was what he loved. And I think it was hard for me. But I think Couples Negril for myself.
Okay, well, you answered Ms. Green's question. She said, which one did you love the best?
Yeah, and they're all for different reasons, and it's so hard because, like, when I went to Couples Swept Away, it's so funny. I can only think about my mom. When I was there, because of the style of accommodations, I just know that that's her style. Mm-hmm. And so it kind of made me feel like at home a little bit, because I just felt like I was like in her space. So, but yeah. But I did like Couples Negril and he liked Couples Tower Isle.
And Gwen said, LOL, she was married at Couples San Sue.
Oh, wow. And you know what? I hadn't stayed there, but actually from what we did tour it, and I love the layout of that property. So that's actually a really cool spot. Where do you get married, on the beach or in the gazebo? Like, where did you get married, Gwen?
I'll give her a moment to answer that. Oh, and we can. Mr. Freeman said, Jackie, what's your favorite karaoke song to sing?
Oh, man, that's a good one.
Personally.
No, he don't know me like that. Oh. But I will say, so Killing Me Softly is my favorite R&B song. And then my rock band song is actually a weird song that a lot of people may not like, but it's called Creep. So it's called Creep.
Oh, Creep.
I think it's Weezer who sings it.
Oh, I know it.
Yeah, so I like a lot of rock band songs. But yeah, I actually love to do Killing Me Softly.
And Gwen said, answered your question.
The gazebo. That's nice. They have so many locations there.
Yeah, it's a beautiful property. Okay. Oh, she said with pictures on the beach and the reception.
Nice.
Nice. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's so funny.
So now, if you have questions, audience, if you have questions, you've been asking, so I appreciate that. But feel free to put in the comments. And if you are a replay viewer and you have a burning question you want to ask Jackie or myself, feel free to put them in the comments, and then we'll definitely get back to you.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are some of the travel trends you're seeing during COVID?
That's a good one. Guess so you hear about domestic travel. It's interesting because I guess I kind of train people. I don't really sell a lot of domestic travel. However, there are amazing places in the United States. But domestic, a lot of different hotels that's near close to home is definitely a trend. I still have people that want to go to Mexico. Mexico has had a lot of requests. And I feel mainly because they don't have any major restrictions such as the requirement of a COVID test. And the hotels are doing an amazing job there with the sanitary protocols. So that's a big trend. Personally, a lot more are going more villas, more villa style accommodations, private transfers. As I mentioned earlier, more boutique. I've had the request to have more smaller, and it's just less people and a lot more private accommodations is what I'm saying. Yeah, Gwen, staycations, yeah. Florida, yeah, that's true. And Disney, a lot of people still are wanting to go to Disney and Universal. I saw some commercials, and I know some people who have been to Disney so far. So yeah.
Some of the feedback that I've gotten in regards to Disney is that they like it because they don't have the long lines, they don't have the crowds, and they're very strict about that you've got to keep your mask on. And if you're walking around without a mask, they're coming up to you right away. And I guess if someone said, "Oh, I don't want to wear a mask," they would have to leave. So they're being very strict. They're doing social distancing, and they are enjoying being able to get on the rides and not be in the crowds.
I know that fast pass, so that.
So I don't even think you need a fast pass now.
I know, that's the thing. You get to save some money going to Disney too. So yeah.
And I think several people are doing more, like she said, staycations, where they stay home. They stay home, where they stay close to home, traveling domestically. Regina says Amelia Island.
That's true.
At Florida. And
I've had several friends asking me about Amelia Island, even for my birthday next week. They're like, "You want to go to Amelia Island?" I can't. But yeah, so that's been like a request.
Yeah, Disney's far less capacity. And Gwen, who's our other travel consultant on the call, she said she's seeing a lot more staycations right now.
Okay.
So, great. What, in terms of plans for 2021 and 22, what would you say? And then I'll chime in after.
No, that's a good one. So I have a group cruise actually still scheduled for December 2021. Everyone's still feeling good. I actually had some bookings during COVID for that cruise. I was very happy to see that and have that happen, meaning the confidence to still cruise. That's what I felt most happy about. But a lot of people are wanting to do the Caribbean. A lot of people who did Europe in the past are wanting to do the Caribbean, stay closer to home. However, it's so odd. It's not really odd, but it's actually exciting to see that people are still wanting to go to Paris. They're wanting to still go to Italy. And I think that's actually really amazing. What I'm wanting to do, what's on my bucket list, is to get to Africa. East Africa is open now, actually, Tanzania and Kenya. And honestly, I may try to get. Let me stop. I may try to get there in November. Thank you, Danita. But my birthday wish. But yeah, That's those are the destination things. But yeah, most people really want to do boutique and stay closer to home, more villas. So I've been looking into private jets. I've been looking into villas, definitely private car transfers. So there's so many options for people. I think now it's just to educate, right, Eva?
Right. I would say so. One of the things that Gwen said was, yes, villas are very popular. And the villas can be popular because you can make your own bubble.
Yeah.
And you can self-isolate. And when you get there, if you're like Jackie and I and Gwen, we would have disinfected the whole place.
I know.
And relax and enjoy the destination. So there,
I want to add to that, and as well as your own staff. Like even private islands, it's so amazing to know that some of these staff has committed and stayed on these islands for the last 3 months. So you also have confidence that your staff is not coexisting in the outside world, in and out from their home to the properties too, in some of these villas. So you may actually just have like an amazing bubble where everyone trusts.
Right.
For me, trusting the process of traveling, who you're traveling with, is the biggest thing to be comfortable.
And Gwen says she's selling exotic Asia cruise for September,
nice.
Africa, and Dubai for 2022. And that brings up an important tip for you guys. It's your travel booking. We want you to dream now, plan now, and travel later. So travel. So if you're thinking about things on your bucket list, and while I'm talking, put your things that you have on your bucket list in the comments.
Yeah, let's
see. So we can dream along with you. Where we going? But you can, if you plan on traveling now and working on with a travel professional about some places that you want to go to, because right now, because of the industry and the pandemic and everything, it is really a perfect time to begin to plan your travel, because the countries, the vendors, the tour companies, they're wanting people to come back, and there are going to be all these different promotions and I'm not saying sales, because we're not. I know that Jackie and I are not, and Gwen, we're not specializing in budget travel, but enhancing the travel that you would ordinary book, or maybe even something maybe before you were looking at a just a standard room, or if it was a cruise, you were looking at a balcony room or an ocean view as your usual. But because the industries are trying to get people to come back, you'll be able to move up to a suite or something on the beach, whereas before maybe that wasn't something that you would consider, because there's going to be all these type of things. So it's not too early to plan for travel for next year, and for 2022 pricing and stuff are out already. So
yep.
Gwen has a question. She said, "What's your opinion on villas and Turks and Caicos?" She's getting a lot of interest.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's so many properties. I met a few last week myself during a conference I was a part of, but they're open, and they're actually like sometimes I think there's one I met was like 14 rooms. Like, can you imagine our 14 villas individually, entrance, standalone villas of just 14 on property, and they're already at a reduced capacity as well. Like, you technically have your own private resort. I mean, so definitely Turks is a big one. Actually, it's so interesting because most of the Caribbean is open, and I'm very excited. I kind of feel like an island girl now. I know Eva, you have the heritage, but I feel like an island girl now with my husband being from Jamaica. So giving back to the islands and those local communities is so important to me, and whatever we could do to assist, them and rebuilding, because a lot of them, their entire economy, at least 80% or more, is based on tourism, you know,
Right.
and especially these private accommodations. So they need us. They need us to consider them and to actually get away. Yeah, and the British Virgin Islands too. Yeah, most def. And I met with them as well last week. And so I'm actually excited. I want to do a yacht. You know, I want a private yacht experience. I have a roommate in college who's in Tortola. About, I don't know, 6-7 years ago now, she took us around the entire island. But yeah, I loved it. So yeah, the British Virgin Islands is really nice.
Gwen says, so Barbados is my ancestral homeland.
That's cool. I love Barbados. I've been there about 3 times already.
Okay.
Yeah, I love Barbados. Asian.
No, I love Barbados. Let me I probably showed my little app when I got up. But you know I love Barbados. That's my family from Barbados. So shout out to Barbados. But anyway, I want to thank you. Let me see if are there any more questions? And I'm looking for your bucket list.
Bucket list, people.
Places. You haven't put any in the comments, or unless I missed them.
Well, I think Mr. Freeman wanted to go to the British Virgin Islands.
Okay.
Possibly that's what that was. Okay. Africa, I saw. I saw Africa come up. Yeah, oh my gosh. Gorilla trekking in Rwanda. Don't get me crying. Just saying it out loud is just awesome. So that's what I want to do.
Ms. Joseph says Montserrat.
Ooh, Bali.
There's just so much. This is on my bucket list too. Bali.
Yep.
And somebody says crabbing from a yacht.
Ooh, you sound like a Floridian.
There's so much out there, and I know that we're all looking forward to getting back out there and being safe. And there's an article that I just read recently that I want to share with you. And where is it?
Ooh, Ghana, yeah. Ethiopia, wow. You know, I always wanted to go to Ethiopia too. Yeah, it's a good place.
So there is there's an article that I recommend. You can go to my Pinterest page. You know, I didn't even spell Pinterest right. Pinterest page with Travel with Eva, and there's an article there on how to stay safe while traveling during a pandemic, and it's by the travel guru. I don't know her personally, but the article is really chock full of information and lots of links to take you to different products and things to consider when you're traveling. And this kind of goes beyond the pandemic, because like we said, we disinfect our seats in the plane, and when we get to a hotel or a property, we're always cleaning. And it's something that is going to go beyond the pandemic and COVID. And Jackie, how can people keep in touch with you?
Yes, so you can visit me at newvideluxtravel.com and Instagram at newvidetravel, and Facebook, of course, and we're here. So yeah, that's how to keep in touch with me. I'm pretty low key. I'm very casual. So I love a conversation, especially to talk about some of these destinations I'm seeing here on the right. I mean, y'all better be careful and figure out how to get over to Europe.
And let me tell you a little bit about me. I am a group travel events specialist. I help you to have worry-free group vacations and conferences. Most people are overwhelmed and stressed out with the logistics and planning of a group event. Well, we transform your ordinary event into an amazing group adventure. And that's a little bit about me. And I would love for you to subscribe. This is showing on Facebook and YouTube. So don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to share. And keep in touch with Jackie. And Jackie, what do you specialize in?
So destination weddings is an area I specialize in, as well as just luxury experiences for solo travelers and or groups, mainly adults. I don't have a kid, so I typically just focus on adult experiences. So yeah.
Okay. And my website is jordantravelenterprise.com. And then I have a travel blog, travelwitheva.com. And I'm always looking for the blog, people that want to write and share their travel story, their travel experience. So I think the last article that's on there now is related to the pandemic and wearing a mask. But before that, one of the blog posts that are really popular is a young lady. She's an amateur photographer, and she went to Ghana for the year of return, and she shares her experience, and that's been really popular. And you can find that at travelwitheva.com. So any last minute comments before we close? I want to thank everyone for participating and taking the time to talk with us. Thank you, Jackie.
Yeah, thank you.
Being a guest on Travel Tuesday. And I always like to end my broadcast by saying, have a great or blessed evening wherever you are, but do take time to be a blessing to someone else. So bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.